So what could a philosopher from the 20th century possibly have to do with the code we're writing today? Well, it turns out a lot more than you might think. Today, we're going to dive into a really fascinating idea: how the timeless principles of Mahatma Gandhi might just give us the ethical blueprint we so desperately need for artificial intelligence.
And this really is the central question of our time, isn't it? As AI weaves itself into pretty much everything, from our social feeds to our healthcare, we've got to ask, who's writing its moral code? Who gets to decide what's right and wrong for an algorithm?
And let's be real, the consequences are already hitting us. We're seeing AI systems that actually make societal biases worse, news feeds designed to manipulate how we feel, and these kind of mysterious black box algorithms making huge decisions about our lives with zero explanation. It's happening right now.
Okay, so where do we even begin to look for answers? Maybe the solution isn't in some brand new tech manifesto. What if it's in a philosophy that's more than 100 years old? Let's take a look at a really unexpected blueprint for our digital future.
So let's start with one of Gandhi's core principles, Satya, which means truth. Now, what does truth mean for AI? Well, it means radical transparency. It means we have to build systems that we can actually understand, systems that are explainable. No more hidden tricks or those sneaky dark patterns designed to make us click or buy or believe something without even realizing it.
And that really gets to the heart of the matter, right? If you can't trust the code, how can you ever trust the technology built on it? Truth isn't just some nice-to-have virtue here. It is literally the foundation for our entire relationship with AI.
All right, next up is ahimsa, or nonviolence. And you might be thinking, nonviolence? How does that even apply to an algorithm? Well, think of it like this. It means designing systems with a simple core principle: do no harm. An AI built on ahimsa wouldn't exploit your data. It wouldn't be designed to spread hate speech. In fact, it would be built to actively fight against human bias, not make it worse.
So, with truth and nonviolence as our foundation, let's really dig in and see how these principles can come together to create a practical, usable code for today's technology.
And wow, when you start mapping these ideas to modern tech, the connections are just striking. Take Gandhi's focus on simplicity. What is that if not the very essence of human-centered design? Or his call for self-discipline? That's the bedrock of what we now call responsible innovation. And his belief in decentralization. That perfectly mirrors the whole movement for open, democratized AI that puts power in the hands of everyone, not just a couple of giant companies.
Yeah, and that point about self-discipline, it's just so crucial. For the longest time, the tech world has been all about what's possible, just this relentless push forward. But this Gandhian approach, it forces us to stop, to take a breath, and to ask a much more important question. It's about shifting from, can we build this, to should we build this?
And that, right there, that's what defines real leadership in the age of AI. It's not about a race to build the fastest, biggest, most powerful system. No, it's about having the wisdom and the courage to know when to slow down, when to rethink things, and sometimes when to just say no.
So if we're going to practice this kind of restraint, where should we focus our energy? Well, the principle of service before profit gives us a really clear roadmap. Step 1 is simple. Let's consciously aim this incredible technology at solving our biggest problems, things like education, healthcare, sustainability. And step 2, we have to totally redefine what success even looks like. We need to look past the revenue dashboards and start measuring the real, tangible, positive impact our tech is having on people's lives.
And look, to build this kind of future, we're going to need a totally new kind of leader. It's not enough to just be a brilliant coder anymore. The leaders of tomorrow need a solid foundation of character. We're talking about deep critical thinking, a rock-solid ethical core, real emotional intelligence, and truly empathetic leadership. That's the secret sauce. That's how you build teams that actually put humanity first.
So, whose job is this, anyway? Where does all this responsibility actually lie? Well, it's not just on the shoulders of CEOs or policymakers. The truth is, the responsibility for ethical tech is spread across every single person who has a hand in building it.
Yeah, I'm talking to you. If you're an engineer, a researcher, a product manager, a designer, you are on the front lines of this. The small choices you make every day, the priorities you set in a meeting, the tough questions you decide to ask, all of it directly shapes the ethical DNA of the technology you're creating.
Okay, so let's boil this all down. What are the big takeaways here? First, remember that ethics, that's the ultimate innovation. Second,
Real leadership is about self-mastery and knowing when to show restraint. Third, and this is a big one, AI must serve humanity, not the other way around. Fourth, progress without a moral direction is just, well, it's just reckless. And finally, and maybe most importantly, never underestimate your own impact. One single ethical mind really can change the world.
So I want to leave you with this thought. Every single line of code you write, every data set you choose, every design decision you make, it's a vote. It's a vote for the kind of world you want to live in tomorrow. The legacy we're all leaving behind, it's being encoded right now in the technology we build every single day.